Alright, what's going on, guys? We are back with another Dokkan Battle video, and today we're going to talk about a major current issue that is going on within Dokkan. So, if you are a JP player, right, you've already come out of maintenance, you've already got some of the updates here. One of the things that Proton had put in the data download is that they are starting the conversion of animations into, like, movies, right? So they're moving away from the assets, and they're basically taking all of these, you know, older animations, active skills, entrance animations, and they're forming them into USM files. So they're basically just movies. Now, this is good in terms of storage optimization. Like, this is something that people have been asking for, right? And for Dokkan to drop the file size, because it's like 24 gigs, basically. So trying to drop all this down, drop some of these assets down, is a good thing. However, there is a sort of drawback that people have started to notice with some of these animations. Now, we're going to play a few of these here that are examples from what Proton put in. Like, not all animations have been changed yet. They're going to slowly, progressively do this, right? Because they mentioned here in this, like, 10th anniversary live stream that they had received the feedback from players regarding the app size, and they think that, you know, they have a way of kind of fixing this. So up until the 11th anniversary, they're going to start gradually reducing the size of the app. And this is one of the ways that they've decided to do this, right? They are dropping the file size of the animations by making them into continuous movies as opposed to a bunch of different assets, like, pieced together. So let's look at a couple of these. So this is the Super Saiyan Trio entrance animation. Now, I don't know how much you guys can really tell from the screen, but if you're a JP player, you could probably notice this, right? And a lot of people probably aren't going to care, but there's little things within the animation that you can see is very pixely, is very pixelated, and in some of these, it's very evident, right? Like, as this kind of moves, like, yes, it still looks very clean, it looks very smooth, it looks good, but there's something about it that you can kind of tell that, like, the animation quality has dropped, right? It's like the difference between, like, having an HD asset and just like a normal asset. You know, when you kind of expand like a picture, it gets very pixelated. It's kind of like that, right? And if you don't have it in like a certain quality or a certain file format, it's going to kind of distort it and pixelate it a little bit more and make it a little weird. And that's kind of what happened here with a lot of these files. Now, the one that doesn't seem to be really affected here is the new Super Saiyan Gohan and Super Saiyan Trunks character, which I believe, you know, this was mentioned before too, that I think this was kind of done with this in mind, right? So this is probably because the Trunks animation was designed in this new format. I think that's kind of the idea here. And I think this might be the kind of style and quality that we can see moving forward with a lot of these animations. So, which is very good, because these animations are beautiful. The quality is beautiful. Like, look at how smooth it is. It looks great. And then you look at like a lot of these other ones. I mean, even like Beast. I mean, you can kind of see the pixelation here, and it's not super prevalent in every single animation where you're going to notice it and you're going to pull it out and you're like, oh, dude, this is gross. I don't want to watch this. They're not all that bad. And honestly, if you're not like a big nitpicky kind of person, you're not going to care, because the file size is going to be smaller. It's going to take up much less space on your phone, which is going to be very, very good overall for the quality of life of this game as we continue to move forward. But, you know, this is kind of is it worth it to drop the quality of these animations for, you know, the size and be able to bring all this down? Now, for that answer, it really just depends on who you are. Right, I've seen a lot of people that say they don't care, they just want the file size to be smaller. And I've seen a lot of people say that they hate the fact that they are dropping the quote-unquote quality of the animation to make the file size smaller. Now, I don't think quality is really dropping, right? I think this is just a factor of like compressing the files or changing the file like typing. I think it's just unfortunate that it's going to happen now, and we have so many animations already in the game that it's going to be really weird for a while until we get more and more of these newer style animations like the Trunks and Gohan here, right? Like, if we start to see that this is going to be the standard, I'd say that's pretty damn good. And if this is a standard that doesn't eat up a bunch of like space on your device, it's probably even better. So one of the things I kind of look at here is a couple different tweets from a couple different people kind of talking about this. So this one, obviously I had no idea. The loading got faster with some effects only. Active skills are now easier to sync with songs. Ultimate moves are reduced or have reduced intervals during follow-ups, eliminating the stuttering, and the cut-in notations of the enemy actions seems faster, right? Which all seems like positive things. And then you have, you know, people are going to take this and, I mean, he's not wrong. So animations are faster, right? Zed puts this perfectly. Zed, sorry, brother. He said, so the animations load faster, they take up less space, they sync up better with the OSTs, but they're uglier. Yes, that's actually the exactly nail on the head with that. It's good for quality of the game, right? For file size, for optimization, but it does drop off some of the quality of some of these high-end animations that we've come to know, that we've really come to love. And it is going to be, I think, weird. Like, I don't think a lot of people are going to notice it, but some people that will, you may not notice it right away, but something's going to be like, you're going to watch the animation, and you're just going to be like, something felt off. Something felt weird about that. And you're not going to know what it is, and you're not going to understand until you go back and really like look at it and analyze it. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's very pixely. Like some things didn't pixelate very right. And that's the issue here. Now, one of the guys here, so Matryoshka, I hope that's correct. So he put in this thread kind of going over his idea. Now, he seems to be someone who is a big in like the animation style field. So he kind of understands this stuff. So we're going to go through his thread here and kind of talk about this. This is going to be a little bit long, right? I've already kind of read through it, so it is a little bit long. So bear with me, or, you know, you can go over here and read it for yourself and kind of like breeze through this basically. So like even like this, dude, you can tell, like, see how like pixelated this is. You see how pixely like this looks? Like it's not supposed to do that. So it just doesn't seem as clean and as smooth. So, all right, so let's go through this here. So he says, I've been thinking about this for a while, and I may have figured out the reason why this is happening. This will be a bit long and technical. So we all know the LWS use sprite sheets as their animation source. The assets within these sprite sheets are scaled and optimized to have a balance between file size and on-screen visual quality. In other words, assets are resized based on their expected display size and the level of visual fidelity required, with the goal of reducing resolution as much as possible without having a noticeable quality loss. Now he kind of goes on to kind of talk about some of the way that the file sizes are, you know, changing the formatting of the files is kind of what is hurting the HD quality of these animations. Now here is like an idea of like when I was talking about thumbnails, right? Thumbnail or like images where they're, you know, you can kind of see differences in them depending on if they're HD quality. When you stretch an image or you like expand, like make an image bigger and it gets very pixely. This is like an example here. So this is a very like HD image, right? Very clean, very smooth. And then you go over here and you may not be able to tell straight off your screen, but like, dude, if you put these up like big side by side, and me like making my own thumbnails, I've noticed this. If I don't have like the right upscaler or I don't use the right quality of a certain type of image, it looks weird. It does. And I don't know how many times people can actually really notice it once it goes on YouTube, once the thumbnail's kind of sitting there. People look at it for like a second, right before you click on a video, or you click away from a video or do whatever. But like for someone who is creating his own thumbnails, I've noticed this. So for someone who is an animator, I mean, they'll definitely notice this. So you're going to see a lot of people are going to point out these things that have an eye for this. Like they really just have a knack for this kind of stuff, and they can really see like the drop in the drastic quality. He said, I think what's happening is that Dokkan is using the output from the Adobe Animate Project's files as the main source of conversion into the new format. And if that's true, it means that the images used in that video are in a lower quality than the original one. If that is really the case, it would mean that the video converted into the new format is based on source images averaging around, I'm going to skip all the pixels, which could explain the severe degradation in bitrate and overall image quality. So basically what he's saying here is that they are, using the old files, the old animations that they already built in their own system, and they just put it into this new one because they're not going to completely remake an animation. Like all these old animations, they're not going to completely just remake them. They're going to take the ones that already exist and they're going to convert them into different files, like the different kind of file. But what that does is it does lower the quality and degrade like the actual animation quality of it, right? Which is very unfortunate because that's the way the route they're going here with the optimization, with knocking down the file size, is just converting them all into these USM files, which is great, but it hurts when you're taking a certain kind of file that's meant to be a certain way, converting it into another one, and it drops the quality. Now, as you can see between these two images here, right? Look at Vegito here on the right, and then look at the quality of Trunks here on the left. It's crazy. He said it doesn't seem to apply to the new Super Saiyan Trunks active skill. As you can see in both images, the characters are fully enveloped and lots of visual effects and compositing work. However, Trunks' outlines are far sharper than Vegito's, which is 100% true. If you pulled these up and you looked at them, like, again, I don't know how well you can see it through the video and everything like that. You'd probably have to look at it for yourself. But if you were to look at this here, and then you were to look at this, like, look how, dude, it hurts to look at how pixelated and just like grainy this looks compared to this. This is just very fine, very sharp. And this is just very like, it just looks like a lower quality, which we know Vegito's animations are not. Vegito's animations are very good. They're so good, but they look worse now with this new format, unfortunately, in the way that they're downsizing everything. So then he goes on to kind of talk about some of the ways that they do the assets, right? It's all about anchor points and the way that they move everything. And then if you are to change anything, you change that anchor point, you completely mess up the path of the animation. So that's why they're not able to really take the old animation and tweak it at all really to fit the new format. It's really, you just take the old one and convert it into the new format, which then lowers the overall quality. Because unless they just completely remake the animation, which again, they are not going to do. So he even says it here. He said, so they can't simply update the asset without essentially redoing the entire animation. At least that's my assumption if their workflow is similar to the one I used. And he goes on to basically say, like, this is 100% his own speculation on what is going on here. But as someone who actually does this kind of stuff and works with these kind of things, I'm inclined to kind of believe him and understand, like, this makes sense to me, right? He really did a good job breaking this down and making it very easy to understand, like, what is happening here with these animations. Now, I mean, Proton here did also highlight, the whole size optimization, scaling everything down. So I tend to agree with this because Trunks' video is 6.7 megabytes, while every other in this data download is 2 megabytes. So let's see if they can revert that. So, I mean, I don't know. So this is probably because Trunks animation was designed with a new animation format. Since the pipeline no longer relies on the sprite sheets, there was no reason to downscale the assets. Yeah, so basically the fact that, this is happening with all these other animations, but yet Trunks' looks so good is because I believe that these were made with this in mind, right? This is made with this kind of format in mind. And again, a lot of people are going to hate it. I've seen a lot of people kind of already complain, and I've seen a lot of people that they don't care. So I think the animation is looking worse. It is a worthwhile exchange for the massive decrease in storage and overall speed of the game. I can understand why others don't like it though. Yep, 100%. Completely agree with that statement right there. And that's going to be the unfortunate thing right now, is that there's going to be a divide on people that just want the size optimization and they don't care about the quality, and then people that are going to be so mad about the overall quality at the expense of or the size downsizing at the expense of a higher quality, right? Which we've come to know, we've come to love from Dokkan. It's all about the animations. It's all about how good everything looks and how smooth it runs. This is going to help it run smooth, but they don't look as good. And that's what's going to make a lot of people mad. And I get it. I understand. I'm kind of on the fence on both sides. I understand. Like, I've never really cared about the size of the game. Like, yeah, it's big, but I've never really cared. I've never noticed. So it's like, it is what it is. And I love this game for its animations. So if we're going to take a dip in animation quality, that's going to really hurt like my soul. And that's really it. But hopefully, you know, going forward, there will be like, maybe all the animations like Trunks's have been made with like this in mind, and that way they are at that higher quality still. And it's just going to be a unfortunate thing for any animation that had already been put in pre Trunks, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I wanted to go over this stuff really quick. I know this is like kind of a hot topic being talked about right now. Within the community, within, you know, it's all over Twitter. I'm sure some of the other Dokkan YouTubers are going to start covering this if they have not already. But yeah, this is going to be, I think, a major dividing point and a major form of like argument between the community for probably a little while until we all get used to it. If some people ever get used to it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so that's going to do it for the video today, guys. I do hope that you guys stuck around to the end of this. I do hope that this kind of helped you understand kind of what's going on here. And, you know, if you guys have any more questions on this, like, I'll be happy to help. I'll be happy to keep doing the research and looking into this. Like, this is stuff that I will 100% keep looking into. And as we get updates, definitely make sure to let you guys know, because I know like I said, a lot of people are going to be upset about this. A lot of people are going to be just irritated at the fact that animation quality is going to go down, or has gone down in some of these animations noticeably. But hopefully, like I said, going forward, all the newer animations are going to have this higher quality because they will already have this style in mind, or this format in mind, that they can work around it. That's at least my silver lining and my hope for it going forward. Like, subscribe, do the thing, and I'll see you guys next time. See you.